Trying to. Okay. I think we're live here. It was trying to make us wait a little bit. Leo, have no fear. Dan and Nick are here. Woo!
Thank
Welcome.
goodness.
Welcome. Welcome, everybody. This is the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel. We probably have people who have been here for several years, and we have people who have been here for several hours new to the channel. Welcome to everybody. On your way in, if you could, you guys know the deal, hit the thumbs up on the stream. It's absolutely free. And this live stream is the Doctor's Orders live stream, co-hosted by myself and the beautiful gentleman next to me here. And this is just a show to spend your lunch break, to listen to podcast style, to get involved with the chat, to learn more about the company, and even more importantly, the people behind the scenes. And today, we're going to reflect on the live stream last night and then see whatever random directions we can get into. We could talk Black Friday. We can talk seasonals, whatever you guys want to go with. And it can be entirely random, like G Squared's question up here that we'll hit in just a minute here. But first, many of you might be new. If you've never been in the stream before, drop a comment. We'd love to welcome you as the stream gets going, especially. And we have so many familiar faces in already, from Max to Dennis, Abe, Leo, Rob, Jill. Shout out to Jill. Toll Booth, Willie, Walter, and Notable, JB. So many of our friends. But I would and last night I think we made the connection that Rob lives over by you. He's a buddy of mine. I was able to hang out with him. And so, yeah, really good person to connect with. Oh, you're muted, Nick.
I was going to say, yeah, he mentioned he was going to try to stop by today. That's awesome. Welcome, Rob.
Yeah, great dude.
Thanks
great
for coming
beard.
by.
Yeah, he went to the Great American Classic Beard Competition in Detroit that I was judging. So got to meet him and his son. So awesome. And hey, welcome CO, welcome Timothy, Brett, Will. You guys are amazing. But again, some of you are new here. Yep, some of you are new here. And the gentleman next to me is Nick, the doctor himself. And if you're like, hey, where did this man get his name? Where did he get his title? Is it a joke? Is it literal? I would like to say it's a little bit of both. Nick, for the people that don't know, where does the Dr. Nick title come from?
So the title of Dr. Nick actually is a legitimate title of a doctor of time and space. The story goes, basically, I had some friends in Florida, and they wanted me to officiate their wedding for whatever reason. They felt like not only dealing with me talking as a friend of mine, but actually felt like hearing me on their wedding video for all of eternity. And so I needed to get ordained to be able to officiate the wedding in Florida. So I went, just like anyone would, on the internet to look up how to get ordained for something less than $50. I think at the time is what I was after. And so I found this place. It's called the Universal Life Church. You can go get ordained to be able to perform a number of officiant duties. And you can pick your title. And so for like an extra, I don't know, $5 there, you can pick a honorary doctorate, or you can pick another honorary title. And so you pick doctorate, and then you go down the list of specialties. You can, doctor of metaphysics. I mean, there's like all sorts of outlandish titles on there. And then there was a doctor of time and space, and it just seemed all too fitting. So I went for that option. Ever since, it's been Dr. Nick. We made the joke at the wedding that I became, I got a PhD, I got a doctorate just to be able to perform the wedding. And so everyone at the wedding kind of went for the joke, and they just started calling me Dr. Nick. And so it spread because everyone's like The Simpsons. I came in, everyone's like, I'm like, hi, everybody. And they say, hi, Dr. Nick. So it just stuck like glue from day one.
And it just seems right. It just seems fitting.
It's fitting.
Yeah, and it is like a Time Lord. I don't know if we'll get into the weeds on it today or not, but Nick has tapped into some weird portal of the universe. And ever since I had a very strange night with Nick where there was like a construction cone light involved and just really weird circumstances, it's like I've been tapped in ever since that. And I'm not even saying that lightheartedly. I actually mean that. So something happened when you got
Yeah,
back.
you took the red pill that night. Yep, you didn't go back to reality. You went straight in, saw the Matrix for what it was. There's no looking back.
Yeah, and Jason said, I knew he was officially a doctor. That right. We don't do any false advertising here. This is
We
all for
really
real.
don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's long form transparency all the way down. But what I did learn a lesson, and I told this story a while back, but I'll touch on it again because it's hilarious, is that be careful how sarcastic you get with your honorary doctor titles, because I decided it'd be really funny to, like, when I was signing up for my JetBlue Mosaic portal. I remember years and years back when I was first setting up like the profile, it was like, prefix to your name. And so I selected doctor. I was like, well, I mean, might as well be Dr. Phelps if I'm really going for it here.
Might
This
get
is
an
funny.
upgrade,
Yeah. So one time, years later, I forgot that I even did that. There was a medical emergency on an airplane on a flight to Phoenix. And all this, I'm like, over the announcement, they said, we do have a doctor on the plane. We're trying to get him engaged now. And I was like, oh, thank goodness, man, that would suck being on an airplane needing medical attention. And then all of a sudden, the woman crouches down next to me. She's like, Dr. Phelps, we do have a medical emergency in the back of the plane. And I was like, whoa, not that kind of doctor. Do we have a nurse? Is there another doctor? Maybe a different one.
And then Nick went and performed a triple bypass heart surgery and saved the man's life.
Yep. Just, real quick. No big deal. Went about my business in Phoenix. The trip went well. Thanks for asking.
With a plastic knife and fork, which makes it even more amazing.
Yeah, exactly. They were plastic. Actually, it was a spork. It was, so I mean, it was a little challenging. I had to whittle it down.
Yep. And for those of you that may be new here, we really are like a big family, a big community here. We laugh with each other. We think about things. It's very similar to all the community aspects that you guys love surrounding my channel and the beard world. And to like put that into perspective, when you have a family, you got to have a mom, right? We all know that. Well, this is the mom of our community right here, Julie. And when I say that, I do mean it quite literally. For those of you that are like, oh, I got to get to know this guy. This is Nick's mom. So this is mom, Julie, right here. And she's taken us all under her wing and is kind of raising us through the chat. And so when we say it's like a family, or when I say I feel like customers get treated like family members by Dr. Nick's, or customers get treated like they're their only customer, this just goes to show it right here. And it really, really is a family. So welcome, you guys, whether you've been here for years or it's your first time in. We love having you so much. And to complete the family, we got the wife of Nick right here, Jill, who has been, I can't even imagine the workload today.
So she was going to join us up here for a little bit today. And as I'm running in, she's like, I need this real quick. I need that. I need 15 cc's of this stat. And she's like, directing traffic down there like a surgeon in an operating room. So she's doing air traffic control. Yeah, exactly. She's got like her orange cones. It's the whole thing. So she might pop up here. And if we do, feel like about encouraging her to come up here, I'm sure she could be convinced. But she would need to bring her own chair because I didn't bring one.
She said she'll come up. Yeah, I threw the invite out last night just because if we had new people, I'd love for them to get to know Jill and just get the vibes. Because there's something intrinsic about most people that when you just hear somebody, when you just see them, you just kind of get a feel for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm big on that too. Like I was recently listening to a podcast, and I'm not going to get into the details on it, but they invited somebody. They kind of declined because they were worried about what was going to get talked about, this or that. The person's like, I'll talk about whatever you want. I don't care about those details. I just want to talk to you. I just want to get to know if you're a good person. And I was like, I feel that. Like I feel if I talk to somebody about blackjack or applesauce, I feel like I can get to know how a person is, generally speaking.
For sure. I mean, that's absolutely possible, man. I don't know. You can listen to someone talk just about anything and listen to their interaction with someone else. It's funny actually. Like when I'm out with someone for the first time, that's like on like the business side of the world, like consulting or something. I feel like how they interact with other people while we're out. I think I learn more about them as a person than I do in their dealings with me directly, because they could be putting on a show for the person they're meeting, right? But the people around them, like the valet, the person bussing tables, your bartender, your waiter, your waitress, your server is what I should say, all of that stuff's very telling, man.
Dude, I couldn't agree with that anymore. Yeah. I've had opportunities to kind of go around the country and spend like weekends or even weeks with different companies and company owners. Your family and company included.
Yep.
And I always, always, always really hope and push that we go to dinner because I get to know them so well. In some companies, it has enriched the relationship better than ever before, such as Dr. Nick's, such as Beard Octane, such as Live Bearded, such as many of these. But there are other companies that I did that trip. Fast forward, they're no longer an affiliate. I no longer do those trips. I no longer interact with them. I actually have 3 of them. And it wasn't because of how they treated me. It wasn't because of an affiliate relationship or business, anything. They didn't do anything wrong with numbers. I saw the way they interacted at dinner. And that told me absolutely everything. But also, I saw the way you and Jill interacted with dinner. I saw the way you and Jill interacted with my kids. I saw the way you interacted walking down the street. I saw the way you interacted at the store with the cashier. I'm always watching that stuff with my friends.
Me too.
Jason right here, him and I on our last trip, we stopped at Chipotle on the way back. I know my friends, when I walk into a store, they're going to be nothing but respectful, nothing but kind. And I just watch and listen. I just take all of that stuff in. And you're exactly right. You can learn so much by just watching and listening.
Yeah, especially, oh man. Yeah, especially, it's interesting. It's almost like I find it to be more either neutral or bad in those situations than I do more often, I guess, than to find like good quality, something stand out. But it's either like okay, you pass, or it's like, oh, I freaking knew there was something there I didn't like. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and dude, we just tapped into the universe again. So I try to, if you guys watch my Instagram, I try to balance like my personal post and then like beard post. I try not to ever go like back to back. And today I planned on doing a personal post, and it's me and my boys. And I've just been kind of mulling over the caption that I want to capture, and it's just whatever comes to mind. It's just genuine. And the caption that I'm like buffing out, I actually forgot to post it for lunchtime, but it was the concept of raising my boys in a way that I'm not always lecturing them, but I'm showing them how to interact with women by how I interact with Sam, showing them how I interact with kids, showing them my passion for business, my passion for sports. And it really is about how you interact with kids, with your spouse. It tells the full story, the entire full story.
Yeah, it does. And what's the most rewarding thing in the world is when you realize that they're actually noticing it and like and they can see it, and they getting, comparisons can be dangerous for people, right? From like a psychological perspective, but the positive ones where like they compare you in a positive way to other people is just so cool. Like I forget what the heck we were doing. We were out somewhere. And I forget what it was. We were leaving a store or something on the way back home. And my son, Jack, he was like, he said something about like, he's like, Dad, he's like, you're like the nicest guy to other people that you don't know. Like, you're like, as far as people I know, you treat people you don't know as if like they're like your best friend. He's like, how come you treat, he's like, you treat everyone like they're your best friend, like, him. I was like, man, that's the way I kind of start that way off with just about everybody. It's like, that's kind of the way I want to start things off. And it's up to you to prove me right or prove me wrong, I guess. But it's
100%. And just like Rob's saying, at 16 years old, his son, who had a chance to meet, I'm seeing so much of me in my spawn. It's great. Same. My kids are at the age where they might not consciously reflect like Jack is yet, but I know that's coming. But I see it come out. I see it in these different things. Like, we just had parent-teacher conferences, and I know every parent has great conferences and says all these great things. But like, the coolest thing for me, like especially with Jax, she was like, her title for him was the class friend. That he's the kid that will befriend anyone when they need it. He's the kid that will help them when they need it. He's the kid that will work with the special needs kids when they need it. And I was like, that's me. Like, that's me to a T. And I get to see it come out. And he's not a big talker, so he doesn't say too much with that stuff. But yeah, I agree. It's really cool to see it coming out.
Oh yeah. For me, going to parent teacher conferences is bittersweet, because they're like, well, he's a great kid, but he talks too much. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And it's like, he's like, well, he gets distracted really easily, but once you get him focused, he gets a lot of really good work done. And I'm like, oh God, that's me. And he's like, and it's like, he does great, but I do have to spend a lot of extra time giving him extra detail for him to like accept what I'm saying as true.
Right.
He doesn't want to just believe what I say. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he's critical and he wants to, all right, well, I'll put that in the win box for me then. Okay. I'll
Right.
put that in the column over here.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
but it's like, it's
exactly.
funny.
I know. I'm the same way. Like,
He drives
Maddox's
people
thing-
nuts the same way I do.
Maddox's big thing right now is that every teacher is like, he rushes through his work. And then I like puzzled the teacher and in this last conference and I go, but how was the result? Well, it was fine. It was fine, but he just really goes fast and rushes through it. I said, but the result was good. I said, because I just looked at the math that you said he finished super quick, because she essentially was saying he finishes super quick to read. And that can be an issue. I understand that. And I said, but he got 100 out of 100. And she's like, I know, but he rushed through it. And it's actually, not putting anything out there too much, but it's actually the first time we've known all their teachers and stuff until this year. And it's the first time I haven't been like eye to eye. And I'm like, she's like, he rushed. And I said, but he did it right. And so and part of me is like, yeah, I do things fast. I do them efficiently and I move on to the next thing. If it's good, move on. And it's like, they want you to sit down and do it in this particular way. And because you're not doing what they say, or like Jack questioning it, that's what we want in our kids.
That's exactly what I want. Like if on a progress report for the rest of this kid's school career, I had, good grades, questions questions authority, doesn't accept truths, wants to rush through, take shortcuts, always looking for a way around. I'm like, yeah, cool. No, that's good. Yep.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, and I get in general terms, like show your work and all this stuff. But once you step 1 foot through the real world, it's just about results. I tell my kids that too. They'll complain like, hey, this kid doesn't practice hard. This kid doesn't do this. And then in the game, he just shows up and is just killer and blah. And it's like, yeah, that's the real world. I'm sure it'll catch up to him. It's going to catch up to him, but it's about the result. And I get it all, but it's just so interesting. And just, there's a topic on the random wheel if we get to it today that's kind of related. So I'll table that, but I love that thought.
If you have a sales job and you're the number one sales guy, as long as you didn't commit fraud, I can promise you no one's going to be like, all right, well, let's look through those deal sheets real quick and see how you got that top place there, mister.
Yep.
It's like, hell no, I don't care what you did. Do it again next year.
Right. And you're telling me I don't have to like manage you and hover over you and
sounds good.
No, okay, even better. Like Maddox got done, did it perfect and read.
Carry on.
Oh, thanks for letting me know. Got a boy. Like, okay.
Boom.
Right. Now, again, guys, as you're just coming in, we have beautiful numbers in here, man. It doesn't fall lightly on us that over 40 people have been in here for 20 minutes with us during their lunch break or whatever time it is during their day. We know that's remarkable, and we do want to say thank you for that, you guys. With that said, I got some random questions saved from G Squared and Moose. I promise I'll get you guys there. And Moose has a really good one. But Nick, just real quick, just a reflection process. Most people in the chat are not business owners of a beard product or cosmetic company. You had a really cool night last night, and I don't even want to lead it in any direction. Just for people that know you, that want to pick your brain, or people that want to get to know you, what is just kind of a reflection from last night? What hits you? What's on your brain?
I mean, just the vibe, man. Again, I feel like it's so interesting. Like, I feel like going into Command's Corner every time, it's like everyone here, especially, it's like you guys are like our entourage. It's like we roll into those things, and it's like I watch other ones and other companies get support. Like, I'm not saying that they don't. Like, we're the only ones that get love on Command's Corner. That's obviously not the case. But I will say that, like, I feel like our crowd is a slightly more passionate crowd than most. I mean, it's the stuff you guys come with is I mean, from a business owner standpoint, right? It's just like we were talking about, hearing people say things about your kids. It's a funny thing. I mean, when you start a business and you create products and you cultivate a community, and in that community says things about you that are encouraging and positive, and also then advocating to other people about their experience. I mean, you literally can't ask for more. I mean, that's you can't buy that. You can't pay for it. You can't create it. You can't script it. It's something that happens organically or it doesn't. And it's a result of the things you put in. These are the benefits of doing the right thing. And this is what I saw last night, what everyone got to see last night, what you guys saw and participated in last night is, it's the fruits of that labor, right? I mean, that's the way I kind of look at it is it's very much a situation where it's a proud moment, just like when you're getting feedback from, about one of your kids. It's look who we have here. Speaking of reflecting on last night, talk about a perfect time. Yeah, she's got some reflections, and on top of that, here I'm gonna mute while she rolls.
Yeah, perfect. And we do have a perfect question coming from Moose in a little bit. And there's no better person to hit on this one when Jill's ready about what the process is like the night where it happens or the day after, or especially if you're a great company like Dr. Nick's, you prep beforehand. You kind of have a little bit of a forecast and you know what's coming. So I know she'll be able to hit on this, and it's amazing. And some great words here from G Squared. Nick, Jill, similar interest aside, you guys are everything I've ever wanted out of a business, and I am a business I'm a consumer of. Full, complete transparency and communication. And right, he said, yeah, he goes, I could turn to get a lot more words that I have to say, but that sentence right there is everything I've ever wanted out of a business I'm a consumer of. That's beautiful. Yep, absolutely beautiful. And Warren said, I'm sure they had an incredibly busy night last night, but they already have my order shipped. Man, so Jill, welcome.
Hi, Mike, check. Can everyone hear?
Check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sounds good.
Deep breathing as I brought my chair upstairs.
Yeah, sorry, I was supposed to bring a chair upstairs. I think everybody.
No, that's fine.
So let me just pick up where I left off. Then I'm going to hand it to you because this is like, it was validating in so many ways, and the fact that I think we are on a pretty good cadence where we do about 4 of those a year with you, Dan, and it's like they always come at the right time because there's obviously the light and fluffy kittens and bunnies part that everyone can talk about of like getting the good vibes. And we are going to touch more on that. But there's the side of the business, of running a business side where it's like, innovation is lonely, right? And running a small business is not for the faint of heart. And, getting up every day, wondering if you're crazy or innovative is a fine line mentally and like emotionally to walk, right? And so about 4 times a year, we both want to jump out of one of these windows on the 3rd story of the building. It's natural. It's fine.
Or the 1st floor or the basement.
It's fine. Sometimes you just want to get inconvenienced and scratched, like that's enough. Other times you're like, okay, what kind of damage can that asphalt do? But you're like, all kidding aside, we usually get that breath of fresh air when we need it, I guess is what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? Like it's the stuff that we see in these commands corners. I mean, it saves our butt sometimes emotionally because like it does, it gets hard. It wears on you. It's exhausting. But to go back to the other part, I see support for other companies. I do. We watch other commands corners. We're always checking out what Dan's up to. We're always watching at least clips of things and we see the love. But again, I feel like the vibe from you guys is just different. It's a different vibe. You're more, our crew is a passionate crew. And
got our homies in there.
It does, man. It's like you guys have our back like crazy and way beyond expectation. That's for sure. And again, it's just something that you can't create and you can't fake it, which is just so cool.
My feet couldn't touch the ground, so I kept spinning.
You like just slowly drifting.
Yeah, I was. I kept slowly drifting. I don't know if there's a breeze in here. And I was like, okay. Yeah, exactly.
Aww, adorable. But talk about impressions from a stream. I mean, and talking about people's babies, right? I mean, this is, everyone that was talking about sense last night, you're speaking directly to Jill, right? And so like, if you're new here or if you're coming in, or even if you've been here, as you guys know, then you're speaking straight to the person who not only conceptualizes, but also formulates and bottles and blends and controls the production of all of this stuff. And so when you're saying about, customer service kicking ass, or this is the best scent. This is the only thing I use in the shower. Like, you're basically telling Jill that something she created is something that you find special and you love. So, I mean, that had been awesome.
Oh, it was amazing just to read all the comments last night. So just thank you all for your incredible feedback. And the poll about Yule Tree and peppermint bark was directly reflected in today's orders today. It was wild. Like, peppermint bark was just slightly more this morning. And I was just overjoyed because it is, it's such a beautiful scent. And I do love them both almost equally, but so.
Well, it's like you love all your kids equally.
I do.
Equally, you love all your kids, but you still have favorites.
Yeah, you still have favorites. But this morning, yes, we are exhausted. I have Shelly running out to grab herself some lunch and stuff right now. I'm like, get out of here, kid. You got to go eat. But you guys have us busy at work. As the full transparency factor, last night we were watching inventory live. And so we stayed in stock with as many items as possible. We were updating inventory and planning on filling it today. So we were selling items last night that we didn't actually have in stock. So here I am today filling all those items. So I'm not going to stay too long and hang with you guys just to make sure everything does get out today. But that's how Dr. Nix does it sometimes, is just by the seat of our pants. But we do it. We make it work. We do it for you guys because we love you guys. And and you love us. So it all comes full circle.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden if we get 3 questions in a row of I had this in my cart and it's gone, and we're like, well, we were gonna fill that tomorrow anyway. Can we just want to restock it now so we can just backfill it? And it's like, okay, let's update it.
Right, but that's the beauty of a husband and wife small batch owned company that can do that. They're communicating directly not only with the owners making decisions, but the creators, the people that are on the ground doing it. That's what's so special about this, man. It really is, and Jill is a boss lady, no doubt about that.
Yeah, no doubt about that for sure. And you look at what she's pulling off today, though. She won't ever go home the day after Command's Corners until everything is packed and shipped. I'm like, listen, you realize someday that might not be realistic, right? And she's like, then I eat dinner here and I come home at midnight. And she's like, and then I'll have 2 more people and they're here with me. And it's like, all right. It's like she wants to, if you're new and you decided to try us for the first time because of what was said in the comments, or if you're here doing the same thing, just know that like Jill wants you to think that you are our only customer. You just came and said like, I'm willing to give you guys a shot, just like you walked into our building and shook her hand. So she takes it pretty serious.
Oh, if you saw how many orders I woke up to this morning, not only from Command's Corner last night, but our usual workload. And then a few emails being like, hey, I just wanted to try a scent. I'm new here. I just wanted to, can you throw in a sample? Most people would be like, you cannot handle printing out like a little label right now and filling this bottle and finding this guy's order and adding it in. And I was like, halt. I got this. So everyone will get their sample of oils today. Everyone will get, I read all the emails, hopefully. And yeah, we got this.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's tortellinis for dinner tonight in the office.
Out of the freezer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bertolli's from the fridge section.
My acai bowl is acai soup right now, but it's still got bananas in it and it's good.
And I think it was likely even with order wise, the biggest Command's Corner yet.
Yes.
This was.
You and I didn't get any chance to review afterwards because I was sleeping. Right. And we didn't get a chance to review this morning yet because I was like usual eating my sandwich as I walked upstairs after I set up a bottling machine for Jill.
Yeah.
So it was normal chaos. But yes, absolutely by a large margin actually was the largest Command's Corner from volume and orders.
And if anyone remembers last year, I was alone in packing all those holiday Command's Corners orders. So luckily, Shelly and we got this together, so there's nothing we can't do. So,
man, that just speaks on the people that have tried and they keep coming back and they tell people like Timothy, his brother Ken was in the chat and he said, have you tried Dr. Nix? His response was sending him a picture of his product shelf, and now he's a customer and made his first purchase last night.
Nice. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Timothy.
That is so cool. And so, Jill, question for you, and then anytime you gotta bounce out, we totally understand. But Moose has a good question, just kind of generally speaking, as someone that's not owning a company and getting ready for this, when you have something like a Command's Corner or a Black Friday deal or the holidays, you got a big event coming up. What does it look like before? What does it look like the day after? Is there any kind of change, or is it just business as usual?
So Shelly tends to prepare a little bit more for packing orders, so she doesn't spend as much time wrapping or making boxes. We like to not to have too much stuff on the packing and shipping receiving floor that's like prepped or anything, so we can see everything that we have on hand. But the night before, she came in a little bit earlier yesterday. She wrapped a ton of like our ride or dies, our LCPs, our Yule trees. Our peppermint rosemaries. I love that photo. That is classic. We were listening to some throwbacks that day, just dancing around. But she'll wrap them all in cardboard and get them started and labeled beforehand. So in the morning, this morning when we got our pick list in, she didn't have to sit there and start by wrapping everything, and then getting a jump start on the boxes and just having them kind of made up. So we had a little bit of a head start.
That's awesome. And it makes sense. And then kind of you touched on it already, but it just now is you have that standard for yourself, even if it's not fair, that I'm going to get through all these. And so it's just cranking through it until essentially it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And thankfully it's with her and Shelly cranking away on it now. It's not like it goes twice as fast. It does go 3 times as fast because there's things that you don't have to do in between steps when there's 2 people doing it. Like you don't have to shuffle as much. So like the setup and teardown time, just so we can with anything. I don't care if you're building a wall in your basement or you're working on something in our car or doing something in our production room. Like setup and teardown and cleaning is gonna be what makes or breaks a good outcome and is gonna take up over half your time.
Yep. Whether it's filming, whether it's anything. And like you said, a lot of people think like, oh, I got to pay someone to bring them in and it's going to give me twice as productive. It's like, oh no, there's actually a little exponential growth there.
There is.
Better. Yeah.
There totally is.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love that. Love that.
And right now, I'm staying like a few steps ahead of her where I'm pulling everything onto the packing slips and checking it all off. And she's just coming behind me and packing it all up. So bada bing, bada boom. We're like Lucille Ball and what's her name? Dating myself. Never mind.
We know, yeah. All right, another old reference here. Street Fighter character. What Street Fighter character would you pick, and why did the game have such amazing music?
Which one?
What's the girl with the huge legs?
Chun-Li?
Yeah, Chun-Li. Yeah, I'd be
Hell
Chun-Li. Yeah. Why? Because she always won. And why did that game have such amazing music? Because it was such a good game.
Nick?
Who's
your character?
I mean,
you'd also go Chun-Li. Don't lie.
I'm
pretty sure the last time we played Chun-Li versus Chun-Li.
No, sorry, I'm a weirdo. I was either Vega, which was I was either Vega all day or Boston.
Okay, so I have no clue the characters you guys are referencing right now. I was not a video game guy at all growing up. I know Street Fighter. I know the concept. I saw the movie. I don't know. No, that's Mortal Kombat. Never mind. I don't even know Street Fighter. I was about to say, wow. Okay. Yep. I don't know. I got nothing on this one.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, I support the Chun-Li. I do. I support the outfit. I support, the whole thing.
G Squared's respecting the rare choice from you.
That's a rare choice.
I'm a weirdo. So here's how
he said it too. He's like, I'm not like judging you, but silently, maybe.
So like what I liked about Vega is like no one ever saw anything he did coming. Like
because nobody picked Vega.
No one picked him. So no one knew his special moves. So like no one ever saw that you were about to do them. Like when you were Ryu, like everyone knew exactly what was coming out of you. And like, if you're a Chun-Li and you step back, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get the machine gun kicks and it's gonna turn blue and I'm gonna die. But no, yeah, Chun-Li outfit, agreed. Yep.
Dude, there's so many of you guys I want to hang out with so bad.
Right. All right, I'm not alone. Thank you, Walter. If you told me to name a Street Fighter character before you guys said all these, I would have had 0. I would have not come anywhere close. I would have been blanked out. So that's funny. All right.
I don't know.
Next
It
one,
looks
real
off
quick, while
balance.
we have Jill, and then we can send her off back to the dungeon to get to work here. But big plans for 2025. Let me hit you guys with some key ones that kept getting asked about last night, and then you can take it wherever you would like. And then if there's any left over, hit me afterwards. First one, deodorant 2025.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yep. It's going to happen. It's going to happen this year. Yeah. And I'll tell you what. Yeah.
But not quite. All right.
Yeah.
Under stressful circumstances, not quite.
I mean, it's working pretty well.
Also, love the shirt, Jill.
Oh, did you catch that? Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so deodorant coming in 2025.
Mhm.
Stripping wash and or solid soap.
Solid soap. Solid soap could happen, but it might not be like the solid soap everyone's thinking of, because we do think of a couple specialty products in a solid soap form.
So, in order to convince the anti-solid soap guy, we were thinking more of like an exfoliant solid soap form. And I have some ideas.
Yep. So we do have some ideas there. A stripping wash, I would, in my mind, have a hard time differentiating a stripping wash from our head shampoo. And so I would need, because it's just a pH difference. It's a little bit strippier. It's got a little more surfactant in there.
And the hair shampoo has different ingredients.
Right. I'm just saying, as far as
But
like
they
a stripping
play well.
output goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they do play well together.
They do. And so what I'm thinking though is,
Especially when Nick doesn't read in the shower.
yeah. And what I'm thinking is like, oh God, yeah. There was like a 3-week period where I was out of beard wash and didn't know it. And I was using Jill's hair shampoo in my beard for like a solid 2 weeks.
Oh.
Whoops. And I was wondering, I was like, I'm a little dry. I was a little dry.
Think about the exfoliant for the head shaving guys.
Yeah. That'd be huge. I'd use the hell out of that. But
huge.
as far as the stripping wash goes though, I could see a slightly more surfactant up version of our hemp wash. And you might even make that one. We've been toying with the idea of doing something with rice water inside of a wash too.
Or
and
an apple cider vinegar and loosen it a little bit.
So we might be able to work one of those kind of
an older
ideas in.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Who cares?
Some people don't like, apple cider vinegar is kind of off-putting for some people, but it is so cleansing and very gentle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very stripping, but it's gentle. It's not going to irritate. It's not going to cause any damage or breakage.
Don't worry, guys. She's got to get around me for that one. I don't want to wash my beard with an Italian sub, and until it doesn't smell like one, it will not happen.
If left to my own devices, you guys would all be like living in your vans, like just.
Yeah, right. All right.
Deodorant wouldn't be needed,
Mm-hmm. Next one, the Oud essential oils, XOs, the Valentine's scent. Are we doing it 2025?
I mean, I think we get this chat's vote right now, and we just throw out a poll and we just do it.
All right,
we did
Jill,
this
hit 'em
last
with
year.
the
We
scent
said
profile.
yay. You said nay.
Then let's do it.
Let's
If
do
there's
it.
enough, listen, I saw last night. As soon as the second person asked last night about it, I'm like, cool, I'm in. There's 2 people that want it right there. So it doesn't take much to convince me.
I got to get the labels going then.
So X's and O's is Oud, and then real Oud, by the way, guys. Essential
It's real
oil.
food. So
Yep.
yes, it is.
It's not for the faint at heart.
And then
No,
anything
but-
else that you could share in the profile of X's and O's?
Oh, and it's amber and oud. Yes. So it's
Amber
amber
and
and oud. Yep.
So if you guys like that muskier, darker, manly type cologne scent, it's very, very kind of, manly, sensual. It is a natural cologne.
It
It has
is.
vetiver. It has some sandalwood in it
the
to like
thing-
give that nice spice. But the amber and oud, they are very musky. So also scent is so subjective. Some people can pick up on that, like, okay, I'm finding this a bit sour. And other people are like, wow, there's that cologne. There's that cologne scent I've been looking for. So
It depends how your nose picks it up, and it really depends how long that stuff sits too. It changes
the
quite a
longer,
bit.
the better. That's why I wanted to write it down now.
We
I'll
would be
steep it now.
steeping it like now,
Tomorrow, yeah.
and then having it ready for February. But there you go. Walter's like, count me in. And
Yep.
but it's like if
Walter
you're looking,
Smith knows. He knows.
if you're looking for something that's like a cologne scent, it really, you got to keep in mind, like the oud essential oil is very much like the it's the basis of what they make that oud fragrance oil out of.
Yeah.
And so it's like It's not going to be what you expect from like a cologne or aftershave smell,
Right.
right? But think about going that direction from the essential oil world, and that's where it's going to meet you in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, and if anyone's ever tried our warm spice and musk, our number, previously known as number 18, that's kind of that's a milder version of our cologne scent. So it's definitely a much more robust version of the 18, but that's kind of along that profile.
Yeah, it's more of like a pheromone, natural, manly scent is how I would describe it.
So I do want to point out too, because some people will be like, no, it was foul. We have had a lot of people call in and be like, number 7 to me smells like straight, what's that simple clean?
Goof off. Like goo gone.
They don't pick up on any of the floral notes in it.
They don't.
They just don't, or lemonine. Like they're just like, it's just someone was like, this smells like a Sour Patch Kid. I hate it.
Yeah, someone said it smelled like pine sol to them.
Pine sol. So for you guys out there that are like, what? Like who is this guy? Hold my earrings. I'm coming after him. Like that's just the difference in the
subjectivity.
What happens in our bodies and like what we can pick up on.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's nothing is for everyone. There is no one for all.
There's not.
So, Nick, so far 22 votes, and if my math is correct, it's either 20 or 21 voted yes.
There we go.
Nice. I win. Yay. Thanks, guys.
And that's a nice kind of range for a seasonal, too. You have the holiday ones. Those will go away. You're not coming back too soon or doing too crazy amount of scents. That's perfect. Then after that, there's probably not much unless something random comes out until Christmas in July. So I think that's a very fair time and something that people would get really excited for. And the labels are just so dang cool.
Yeah, they're cute.
Man, yeah, I had fun making those.
Yeah,
those were fun ones. I'm gonna have fun updating them too, because it'll be just a quick update and it'll look good.
Yeah,
it'll look awesome with the new logo on there.
And then 2025, probably the one I get asked about the most with you guys, which is saying a lot because I get asked about everything that I just mentioned on a daily basis. Samples. Are samples going to be possible for Dr. Nick's?
Yep, our new so I think I kind of alluded to it really, really quickly. That we finally got rid of our last overseas reliance on packaging with our glass bottles. And so we found the one place that decided to fire up one of these rectangle molds here in the States. And they do a couple of things. One of them is they make some really cool boxes that some individual vials can go in for samples. Nice. That opens up the possibility of doing discovery sets that are pre-made, light, dark, medium, those sorts of things, floral, fruity, masculine, or you could do even mix and match samples. So I mean, it opens up a whole world of possibilities for samples, which is fantastic.
Amazing. And the amount of new customers, the amount of like existing customers that are worried about trying a scent, that's going to be so awesome.
Oh yeah.
JB said, I just buy them all because I'm going to like it and use it anyway.
JB, I really like your strategy there. I think you should share that tactic with more people. Keep that rolling.
Right. Any Nick, any updates on woodworking or your machine that had some technical difficulties?
It's back up and working. So
nice.
And it's in its new place too. So we have a new table for it. It's in a new area. The last piece that we're looking on to be able to start shooting some things through for Dr. Nick's would be the laser head on it. I'm not dealing with the manual lasering small guy I had set up before. We got to do this programmatically, so it's a little easier. But we're gonna. I think the laser head's the last thing we're looking on, and one last fitting for some dust collection for some suction, but it's about it. So we're damn close to that. There's gonna be a blizzard this winter that has me in the shop down there doing nothing but getting that thing ready, I'm sure.
Yeah, just bury in. And then one thing that just popped in mind for me, because I got a little inside baseball behind the scenes knowledge, possibly, and this is not me guys, but possibly a collab or two in 2025 as well. New scents.
Yep.
We have a few, actually.
Yeah, we have a few.
Excited,
and one of them we just talked about this week too. There's a new donation arm that could be spawning up because of that. We talked about some of like the sober homes last night. We kind of mentioned that. There's another brand that we would be hooking up with in collaboration to do that. That would result in a very cool new shower product or potentially a little miniature line of shower products They're all in. We're now to the point where it's getting kicked around with their owners and founders, and they have a foundation that they run. That's their outreach side of their business as well. So lots of cool stuff potentially coming there. And then there's a couple. Actually, there's
There's a
two
couple
for
of
sure
people.
already happening.
I was gonna say there's a few people in here that we've been working with.
Yep.
And then there's a few others that have reached out. So
Mhm.
Dr. Nix is
And there's
linking
some,
up.
well, and there's some other things in this little universe here, right? There's other people that you guys are obviously big fans of because they're friends of the family of all of us here. So there might be some collaborations coming with them too. It's going to be some insider trading happening here inside the community.
Yep. So stay tuned, guys. All in all, summary, it's going to be a big year for Dr. Nix and just going into it.
Oh yeah, it's going to be big.
In 2025 is Worlds, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
sure is.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I'm working on my beard over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jill's going to enter craft beard.
Please do. I feel like
She's
Jill would
she's
go-
gonna. There's no way she's getting around it.
I would say Jill would go all out on that too and just crush it.
I gotta find a way to incorporate like Sir into my beard, my dog.
Yep.
Just so he can come too.
Yep.
Yep.
We got to figure out well, what's the age of entry. Can Jack do craft beard?
Oh, they usually have kids creative. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that'd be so much fun. We'll get the whole. It'll be a family event for Worlds. Why not?
He would like program up some like robotic LED beard that like does something crazy and 100%,
Interactive.
yeah, does it himself. That would be amazing.
It's AI beard. It's like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that would
laser
be so
beard.
cool.
Think of
I
a
love
color.
that.
My beard changes that color.
Man, that's amazing. So yeah, and man, I'm excited. A lot of people are gonna be trying Yule Tree for the first time, peppermint bark for the first time. I'm
Wait,
excited
just
for them.
wait till you get your hands. Like if you've ever walked into a Christmas tree lot and you're like, oh my God, how many? It's like 8 different, 6 different kinds of pine trees you're smelling along with everything else that's around it. It's like, oh my God, that's what this bottle is. I'm wearing peppermint bark today and it's amazing. But I'm going to be wearing Yule Tree tomorrow because all my shower products right now are Yule Tree. I'll have you know. I used start to finish Yule Tree in the shower this morning, which is
Nice.
fantastic.
And one thing that really struck me last night was, I mean, we had 250 people in, and the percentage on the poll between EO and FO, I did not expect that.
Dude,
I did
wild.
not.
that was a landslide.
Wow. Is that bright for the future of essential oils and companies that are
70%.
all natural? And as I said, I think that's going to continue to grow, and I think it's going to be a no-brainer. I actually had people message me today, even people in the chat, and they're like, man, it's got me thinking about like what I'm using and stuff. And I thought that was crazy. Would it end up 90%? Something
90%.
No,
People are
it
finally
was,
getting.
it was 70 to 30% last night in the final poll. Yeah, but
Yeah.
even still, like if
That's
you think
huge.
of like the generational age range of people, like that's an impressive poll right there. Like,
Dude, that's huge. And you think about it,
160 votes.
people are getting sick of fake stuff, and that's what it is. Like people are getting sick of the fake stuff. Like they're getting sick of just like everything though. People are sick of getting lied to by mainstream news. That's why they just did a poll. I was just seeing it this morning. They said like 60% of people under 30 years old that they polled, Fox News polled, get their news from independent news sources and don't look at any mainstream media. And they're
I'm
like,
surprised it's that low. I thought it'd be even higher.
yeah, I thought it'd be way higher too. But it's like, you look at it, people are starting getting lied to. They're tired of fake stuff. They want to know where things come from. They're tired of genetic mutants being, packaged up in grocery stores.
Yeah.
Well, and the question was carefully asked too. It's like if this was for the rest of your life. Like I love my perfume and like I use clean stuff. Today it's not essential oil based perfume. It is clean fragrance oils for when we're going out and I want something strong when I walk into a room, but if I had to pick, I couldn't give up my essential oils. They just do so much for me, like in my daily life.
Yeah, they do so much more than just smell good.
Than just smell good. Yeah.
And that was kind of my whole point. And JB, if I could be fully transparent and honest, so as a career, as a living, I test products. And I can't shake that little bug in the back of my mind when there are synthetics and I am putting them into my pores, even though I know, unless you're adverse to it and stuff, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think that they're going to cause any problems or this or that. I just love knowing essential oils. They are all natural. They are squeezed from the source. If you want it to smell like lavender, get the freaking lavender plant and squeeze it. And
Yeah.
the aromatherapy, like I love that. Like I want to smell like peppermint and rosemary. So put some freaking peppermint and rosemary in my oil and let me smell like it. And
Yeah.
I do think that there's a trajectory. I think a lot of guys that start beard care, they come in and they really like the loud, aggressive fragrance oils. Why? Because they came from a cologne world. They
Right.
went to college, they were a young adult, and they started wearing colognes, and they're used to that. And then the beard products kind of act as a transition and a shift from that, and they treat it like their cologne. And then, as Nick said, you get burned out, especially with beard products, because it's directly under our nose all day,
Mhm.
Right.
all day. And eventually, most people tend to come around to my style where it's like, I love an essential oil that's going to fade and dissipate. But when you start, you can't fathom that. The only exceptions that I really know are guys that really struggle with breathing and with smelling, and their sense of smell is so low. And so it's so interesting being like now 6.5 years of talking to people and watching it. There's a very similar path that most guys go down. But in the end, the long game, it's essential oils.
Yeah, I mean, we should do a video on that this spring. We should go down into Boston and walk around like where they did the green strip between like the old Trillium and like the North End, and just have like an essential oil. Get like 2 undershirts, like 2 t-shirts, like two of our Dr. Nick shirts. Get one that's sprayed with fragrance, some kind of fake cologne smell, and get one that's like scented up with like our like number 9 or number 7, something like that, or peppermint rosemary.
Yeah.
And literally just do it. Like do it on camera and just be like, which shirt smells better to you? Which one would you rather have your boyfriend or your husband's shirt smelling like, and give it to them. They'll be like, oh, this one. I'd love to see how many reactions. I'd love to see how many women like would pick with no person attached to it. Like,
Right.
how many would pick a fake fragrance over an essential oil based one?
Right. And I think, as boys turn into men, they start to find themselves. Like, think about the products available to them when they're younger. Like, I have to think about Jack. Like, he does grow up having our products available, but before we started making shower products, this kid was like so interested in like Axe body spray and like Old Spice. And I'm like, dude, you can't use that. I'm sorry. I'm not letting you put detergent on your body. He's like, please.
Also, I
just want the Kraken. You know what I mean? Like,
and also, I'm not smelling it out of your bathroom in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
It smells the whole house up.
It doesn't. It's so
It's
strong.
our gym. Nick,
like
you probably
now,
get this going to the gym. Even these dudes that are in their like 50s that just don't know better, that are really meticulously working on their body, they'll literally.
I know.
And it's like, what are you doing?
They never learned outside of that.
Nope.
That care level for themselves. And
No.
I'm trying to be so careful how I say this. It's like that was okay for them. They're like, okay, this is good. And then when you start to have to maintain something more like a beard on your face, you start to realize, oh, this needs more love and more care. So you start to learn more about it. And then what you put on your body every day. Women typically are born with so much hair already on our heads that we have to learn that earlier because we'll fry our hair.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much behind that in so many areas where you're exactly right. Most guys Nick's age, my age, we didn't have dads that grew up saying like, hey, you need to be this and all natural and this, and you need to care for your body like this. It wasn't that at all. In the same way, like for me, just speaking personally, or Sam, I grew up with parents that didn't have a problem, but every day had alcohol, weekends heavily drank alcohol. That was just how I was raised. You weren't told any other option. And now as I'm becoming a man and coming into my own, I'm like, oh, I didn't need that. Like, there's a better way. It's quite literally the same as Axe body spray or as margarine or all these things.
Oh, God. Yeah.
The internet's a beautiful thing to kind of open our eyes to all these things. And if the
world's got a lot smaller.
Yeah. If the beard is the precipice that gets those changes, oh my gosh, amazing.
Dude, it doesn't matter what that, like you just said, dude, it does not matter what opens your eyes to what's going on in you. I don't care. I don't care if it's soda and you're like, what's in this? It's got, huh? You're like, something's going to at some point make you see behind the curtain. And once you look up that skirt, you can't unsee it, but you see it's impossible. Like if in like things for us, like if things have ingredients lists that are past a certain length, even unless we know it's for a good reason or there's multiple main things that make up one thing in a box, like we won't eat it, we don't buy it. Like if there's drinks with the artificial, we just don't do it anymore. Like there's too many good options, and you don't need to spend a bunch of money doing it either. There's like super affordable ways to not eat synthetically chemically processed stuff. Like most times that stuff's more expensive because it's prepared stuff.
Salad dressing. Have you ever looked at the ingredients in your salad dressing?
Stop buying salad dressing.
That's why I boycott
Wild.
salads.
We make all our salad
And that's why
dressing.
Dan doesn't eat salads. Is that very reason right there? Public enemy number one. Look at the breeding ground for evil that we just exposed with salad, Dan. I mean, you've been evangelizing this anti-salad movement for a while now, and everyone's been looking down on you. But lo and behold, those sneaky little bastards.
It was the dressing all along.
Mm-hmm.
For once in my life, I felt heard.
You felt validated. We've all been wondering where trans fats are actually hiding. It's in salad.
It's in salad.
Yep.
You heard it here.
You. Now we tackle
you heard it
coffee.
from a doctor.
I can't take that one down. I know, guys. All right. Well, friends, newcomers, believe it or not, that is an hour. That is our time. We did not even get to, and I promise next week we will, but we didn't even get to the random wheel. Oh, and you see right there, Cracker Nasty.
Dude,
He'll be here next week. And somebody had submitted a topic of natural body wash like a couple weeks ago. And so we'll still tackle that. And it almost seems perfectly fitting after last night. But
that would be a perfect one. And boy, do I have the Cracker Nasty of Cracker Nasty stories. One, I'm getting the list of dates when he wants to come on the stream with us he's probably going to do it from a large tanker ship that he is on the helm captaining at the moment off the coast of Africa. So it could be a very interesting stream in that regard as well. But oh man, I actually had to out loud rehearse how I would tell this story with Jill 3 separate times last night, just to make sure I could evade things that would make it less than acceptable for this stream.
Yeah.
Oh, so, we worked it all the way down to PG 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take that. That. It's lunch break. Kids are in school. We're all right.
Yeah, loosen up a little.
So if you're like, what the heck is a Cracker Nasty story? Or you're like, I love Cracker Nasty stories. This one sounds juicy. Next week, we will be here, guys. Do not miss it. I want to say thank you to the community for showing out last night. I want to say thank you for Nick and Jill for preparing, for executing, and just absolutely killing it. And we'll be here. I'll kick it over to Nick and Jill for the final send-off, you guys.
Oh, man. You guys don't want to hear me. We have Jill here, so I'll let her send everybody off. But
gotta go.
I just wanted to make Jill test that natural deodorant that she was talking about. That's all. No, guys, thank you so much for last night. It was incredible. It was our quarterly invigoration to keep going with smiles on our face and wind in our sails. So as usual, we really appreciated it. It reignited the fire inside of us that it always does, and we can count on you guys to do it. So thanks a bunch, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Stay amazing.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye, guys. See you on Tuesday.